Hey everybody, welcome to Blushinger Tarot. I have a very exciting uh, thing to share today. I was offered my first review deck from a publisher, and just the other day, and I gladly accepted, and it already showed up. So I'm very excited to share that with you. Thought I'd hop on and do a quick video here. It's fresh to the market, so um, this is one that I pre-ordered as well. Uh, possibility that I'll do a giveaway for that extra copy. I don't tend to do backup decks, um, so if in the event that um, that one then follows, I think that'd be a fun way to again give back to the community. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, let me show you what has arrived. It is Tarot de Ambiguité. This is from Alejandro Rozan and the folks at Artisan Tarot. So, artisantarot.com is the place to go. And of course, if you watch my channel, you know I'm a fan of their Tarot de Marseille decks. So I've been buying from them for a while, and also their socks. I got to tell you, their socks are amazing. They have some socks that fit the theme of some of the Marseille decks. So I have one set that I got with the dough doll. Was it the dough doll? No, it wasn't the dough doll. I believe it was actually the Noblet. Jean Noblet um, had socks to go with this, and I just saw when I was on their website today that they have another set for one of their decks that I have yet to order. That is another one that a more recent Terre de Marseille release from them. Uh, so I'll be heading down that path soon as well. Uh, anyway, I'm going to jump right into it. I'd like to open this up and just go through. I haven't taken plastic off yet or anything, so uh, I'm excited to take a look at it. I've seen some of the pictures on their website and so forth. So excited to dive in, take a look at this deck. I do love the backs. There's a sort of an antique look to it. You can see a little bit of color variation. The camera's not doing a great job of picking that up, but it's almost like a tea staining effect, just sort of an aging there. That same theme appears to be carried out on the backs of the cards as well. It came with a few extras in a little packet here, just some promotional material, I believe, for some of their online lectures. And they have Enrique Enriquez. They have a lecture on their website that you can purchase and view. Uh, Z Manzilla. Also, I have purchased that lecture, uh, but I haven't completed the viewing yet. May bring that up at some point too. Oh, it's some art cards here, which is fun. The artwork on this is so intriguing, uh, and I'm really excited to dive in more now that I have the cards in my hand. So, some interesting things there, and then of course some information here from Artisan Tarot. There is a Discord they have, so if you want to get into a Discord chat with folks in the community, um, you can scan their QR code there. But I believe also links on their website for that as well. Um, anyway, also on that note, while we're talking about social areas outside of YouTube and also outside of standard uh, social media, I'd like to remind everybody that we have a Slack channel, a Slack community for our little tarot slice of tarot tube. If you are interested, you can email me, and I will send you a link. Um, so Slack, if you're not familiar, Slack is it is definitely a invite only type of setup. really done for businesses as a way for folks to message each other in a business setting, but it's been used outside of that for small groups to, well, small and large groups to get together, chat about things. Really, it's very useful for setting up subcategories of discussions. So we have a couple of different categories going on, including card pulls and different things like that, spreads and stuff like that. So, long story short, join Slack. Join us on Slack. It's a fun thing, and we're having some nice discussions over there. So, okay, um, so what we can do now is just start the flip through, and I'll go ahead and uh, make this a little bigger so you can see where we are here. Um, and basically, we'll just go through a little flip and get there. Apologies. All right. So we're going to do, okay, there we go. All right. So we'll do a flip through, and I'm just gonna discuss as we go, and then we'll do some probably some more thorough work with this at some point, maybe including a deck test drive, um, and and so forth. So after I get a chance to check it out, and work with it a little bit. So we have some explanation here about the cards and about the deck. Very nice. And yes, the antique look that antiquing has been carried out through this, and it is a little difficult to pick that up on the camera. It's not quite getting that subtlety of the brown tones that you get throughout, but they're definitely there. So very um, sort of evocative of typical theme you'd see in Terre de Marseille, but what an interesting play on the theme. We see extra hands, extra legs and feet. And I'm really interested to do the lectures from the creator and learn more about these cards and about the process and the idea behind these. So there's just some really interesting things, little subtleties going on here that we could probably spend a lot of time on each of these cards. But I am going to speed through a little bit so that everybody gets a chance to see these because again, this is a preview copy, so they're just now coming out. Um, so I want everybody to get a chance to take a look at them if they want to before they before they dive in and grab the deck. Beautiful tones, just gorgeous artwork, and the colors are wonderful. It has such a neat old feel to it, and that's I really appreciate that because the art style of Marseille tends to give you that old ancient feeling, and to complement that with color palette that is also fitting. Look at what we have on the scales here. Oh wow, this the form of this hermit. That's that's incredible. Really puts that lantern front and center. That's what we can do to some of the variations on the artwork. It's great what you can do, what you can pull out, the different meanings you can highlight by changing the illustrations in subtle ways. Look at the faces. Mhm. I love the faces on the standard tongue on the Marseille hanged man. And we actually have a hand holding that foot. Love it. and that's pretty fascinating. Look at what flora just I mean, that's a how about that for the thought of a renewal, and just changes the overall thought of that death guard. Hmm. Life persisting there, right? Pretty interesting in that form of the water. That is there's a lot going on this tower, right? By the way, these are standard tarot size, I believe. Let me go ahead and get an RWS for comparison's sake. Yes, they are. Standard RWS US Games tarot size. It is the beautiful linen cardstock that if you have any Artisan tarot decks, you'll be familiar with. It is the same stock that they use for all of their Marseille decks that they've printed so far. So, that moon lot going on the moon card as well. It's actually taking the form of a character, that's, central to this image here, and yet we still have the standard animal, motif in the water. Both of these emerging from a fish-like creature, which is really interesting as well. We have our sun. The sun also taking the form of a character there riding horseback. Hmm, that's that's very interesting. It's there's like a winged form with eyes. It's like a collage of wings and eyes. Certainly lots of artists have used that eye motif, just the all-seeing eye, the idea judgment there is so my camera does want me to be closer now. It really wants to see these images up close, and we don't wanna miss anything, right? Beautiful card. And we're on to our minors. Hmm. We have a hand holding the hand. It's interesting. And we do have the incorporation of the hands, a little human element here that we don't typically see, and I really like that. I do love, again, the colors. We have some beautiful golds, reds, and blacks, but then there's these dusty blues, that kinda gray-blue storm cloud sort of color, all on this washed, antiqued background, which you can see a little bit more on this card. Um, I really like the incorporation of the hands. Quartz, again, extra we have an extra hand, extra character. peeking through there, adding another dimension. I'm really interested to hear people's thoughts on that styling, the art choice. I think it's pretty fantastic. Oh, no, look at that. Now we're grabbing the ankle, and this all has always had a leg shape in my mind. That's kind of always how it's felt. So we just take that all the way through to this conclusion in this art style, and here we do have the feet attached to the wands, the battens, if you will. It's so rich. That's certainly a theme in this artwork all the way through. Just feels very rich, very full, but not in a busy way at all. Some some decks, if they're full, they're also busy, and then that can be distracting. This doesn't feel that way to me. Again, so much to look at. There's so much going on here, and yet it's still in a classic form that's easy to digest. You are used to Marseille, if that's a system you work with, you can pick this up immediately and work with it, no problem. Hmm. Oh, wow. Our cups. Here we have in a traditional way, we have the artist's name, hearts featuring here. So we have, so far, we've had the hands, we've had the feet, now we have hearts for our cups. I mean, there's no hiding behind the emotional side of this with the bleeding hearts all over every card, right? Hmm. The page, gazing at that cup, gazing at the heart in the cup. And we haven't talked about the directionality here, which is also something that is discussed frequently in Marseille. All of those court cards, looking to the left, looking to the past until you get to the king, and looking to the right to the future. So we have the severed heads that are our coins or pentacles. So that's beautiful. This is always one of my favorite cards, Marseille deck, um, just as a thing to look at. It just it's it's fascinating to me that in this tradition, artists and the creators, they were encouraged to, whether it was encouraged or they just that's just the style, they would put their brand out there, and the fact that it often landed on the same card or cards, where they would put that signature. I think it's wonderful. I think it's, it's a shame it didn't continue with, um, the RWS decks. We would have all known, or, in history, folks would have known about Pamela Coleman Smith's, contributions much earlier in the process rather than it being brought out later on, decades later, and we all learned about it and now appreciate her. But, in any case, here we have Alejandro Rozan, and, his stamp here, and I love it. I think it's amazing. Wonder how everybody feels about the heads being on this suit. It's good for the shape and also all of the other suits too. I'm really interested to hear everybody's thoughts on that. And again, this is because this just showed up, um, at my lunch hour today. So, and I just opened it. So I've had I haven't looked at anything. I haven't studied up on the deck, and I haven't watched the lecture, from the creator, or any of the gone at depth into any of the material. I really just wanted to get it out here and show everybody, get everybody's thoughts. So I would like to see in the comments, what's your initial reaction on the choices by the artist here? I think my first impression is I really am enjoying these images, and the colors, and the overall aesthetic to me is very appealing. All the different expressions in those faces too, and talk about directionality. This one, maybe that's a message here. They all are looking in different directions, some at us, some at each other, some off in the distance, and that'd be interesting to give some thought to that as well. That sense of community perhaps in this 10? Interesting. Hmm. It's almost as if the head is the prize in these court cards until you get to the king. See that difference? There's quite a contrast here. We have for the king, it's held in the lap and has a very different color, and it's almost like it's old and forgotten, and the king is moving on to other things. This is lovely. I mean, I really like it. I mean, it's a beautiful deck. I think it's a really neat thing to behold. I'm excited to work with it a little bit more, learn some more, watch some of the content. I believe there's an interview out there, with the creator. I'll try to, I don't recall which channel I saw that on, but I'll link it, so you can take a look. But, that is Tarot de Ambiguïté from Artisan Tarot. It's a first look, and I'm happy to be able to share it with you. I think this was um, a really fun and creative twist, a different take on Marseille. It's, wonderfully modern while still keeping true to a lot of the forms that we're accustomed to in Marseille, and also just beautifully executed. I really appreciate the way the artist and the team at Artisan Tarot laid this out. I think it's a great thing to add to our deck community, and I really appreciate them sending this to me for review, so I could share it with all of you. So let me know your thoughts, and I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day.